Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet. Lakers brought to you by your Toyota dealers. We make it easy. Chris McGee, Derek Fisher, James Worthy, Mike Trudell, and Nikki K down at the arena. The Lakers unable to close out Houston as the Rockets come to L.A. and win Game 5. The series now goes back to Houston for Game 6 on Friday night. And as the Rockets' confidence continues to grow, it was the three ball that was falling for them most of the night. They actually had 40 three-ball attempts. They hit 14 of them. They were plus 21 from beyond the arc. The Lakers, on the other hand, guys, struggling offensively as the Rockets' defense has picked up and is creating a ton of challenges. Big game.
Well, yeah, we knew that the Lakers needed to close out. We knew they had to come in and, protect the basketball, take care of Houston's athleticism, not let them get, any momentum going. They had an 11-point lead. Houston cut into that. And then from that point, Guido, it just seemed like the Lakers couldn't get quality looks or quality, buckets, offensive rebounds for the Houston Rockets. Just destroyed them. They shot the ball well. This was it was a tough one to close out. And they didn't do the things that they needed to do to take care of the win. So we go to Game 5 now.
Game 6.
Game 6. Even got me confused.
Yeah, I mean, in elimination games in particular, at some point you have to find a way to make your opponent uncomfortable. That could be with the pace and the ball movement and just offensively the way you're playing, but most likely not, because you're playing against good teams. It's the postseason. Houston's a good defensive and physically imposing team. And so then it comes back to, like, can the Lakers make the Rockets uncomfortable defensively? And that's just something they weren't able to do. Like, it was a low possession game. 75, 76 field goal attempts in an NBA game is really low. Mm-hmm. And I think the Rockets only turned it over 11 times. Mm-hmm. And so for the younger, more inexperienced team, in particular in the backcourt, they weren't really made to feel uncomfortable, and where those turnovers could be an issue for Houston as opposed to the Lakers. And so it's just a lesson you have to learn. It's a new team, right, in terms of personnel. Like, this group hasn't been in these most adverse playoff situations together before. And so this is just a part of the journey. You have to win 4 games to advance. They still have 3 to the Rockets, too. So you still have the advantage. You just have to shift the focus now to Game 6. That's all you can control.
So the Rockets in the last 2 years are 4-1 when facing elimination. If you go back to last year when they were down 3-1 to the Warriors. And they have found something offensively. They didn't light it up tonight. They scored enough to win, 99 points. But look at the first 3 games compared to the last 2. Shooting a much higher percentage, 46-40. They're averaging 7 more points. 3-pointers made is a big one. And in the second half, threes were 6-1 in favor of the Rockets. The Lakers did not hit one until late in the fourth quarter, in the entire second half, and that was from Rui. So you see the 3-point percentage ticking up 8 spots, turnovers as well. So much better offensively. Jabari Smith, a big game, 22 points on 6 of 13. He had 4 threes, James, and Reed Shepherd, with the Lakers down 3, hits the jumper, then gets the steal off LeBron for the dunk. 4 quick points, got it back up to 7 after the Lakers were on an 11-1 run.
Yeah, 11-1 run was huge until Shepherd had those 2 amazing plays. But Guido, Houston Rockets, when you play with the kind of, intensity that they play with, they're very active all the time. And so that carries over to their offense. It's not always, but in some cases when their energy is up, they're getting offensive rebounds, their steals, then they start to make shots, then you got a problem. And that's what happens when you have that type of intensity on the defensive end. It just carries over. They were very confident on the offensive end. Shoot, Shepherd, Şengün, all the guys that were knocking down threes. A lot of offensive rebounds that led to 3-point shots as well. So it was just a tough night for the Lakers. As you can see, that steal right there was huge.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, again, some of these plays, especially Jabari Smith Jr.'s production. The Rockets, the ball movement is a little higher in terms of the amount of passes and the movement without Durant on the floor. I think the Rockets had another 5 guys in double figures tonight. Not necessarily, one guy that scored 30, But, 18, 14, 12, 15. And so just kind of those overall team contributions that are not causing the Lakers issues, but it's a different type of team to defend. And so I think it is making it harder for the Lakers to figure out, like, how can we turn this team over? With Durant, we can load up in isolation. We can shift and make the floor small. With this group, you can't really pin them in as
They're doubling
easily.
Şengün a lot. A lot of those threes came off of that.
Yeah.
Redrives.
Execution is vital against any team, but especially against a good defensive team like the Houston Rockets. So when you stop the ball movement, in particular, Geeter, I think the ball movement is critical against the Rockets. And when it sticks a little bit, it's not moving as fluidly, you're going to run into problems, especially if you're not getting offensive rebounds. You had wide open shots you couldn't knock down tonight. That's going to happen. It's how you recover on the defensive end, and they just could not, get enough going to ratify the defense that the Rockets put on them.
Another, subtle but important variable is, you remember pregame, in the pregame press conference, JJ talked about the schedule since Sunday. And, getting back at 4 a.m. basically Monday morning. So nothing on Monday. 30-minute kind of walk-through type of vibe on Tuesday, and then game on Wednesday. And then hindsight, of course, is 2020, but then when you kind of look back at how the team looked tonight, like there wasn't a pop or a juice or a force, at least consistently, that they could bring to this game. And so sometimes the decisions you're trying to make around not doing too much so that the team has the energy necessary to play in the game, sometimes it leads you to maybe under-preparing physically, where the legs, the energy, the force just wasn't there. They looked almost lethargic at times, whereas maybe if you do a little bit more yesterday, the team is more sharp and they feel more prepared, et cetera. But these are easy things to say after the fact. And so now it's just, again, making those adjustments and figuring out how do you get prepared to go and play a game and win on Friday night.
Let's talk a little Austin Reaves, guys. He returned. First game since April 2nd. He missed 9 games with the oblique injury. And you look at his line, he had 22 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. But 12 of those from the free throw line. I was looking at his first quarter line. He had 8 points, and he was 2 for 3, 1 for 2 from 3. From that point on, just 2 for 13. But he was playing his butt off, like he always does. He was playing hard. He looked good in that regard, James. But there was definitely some rust. And they talked about it in the broadcast.
A little bit, of course. You would expect that after being out. You also, a little bit, from my perspective, just him back in the lineup, definitely doesn't disrupt anything. But, you got Austin back in there now, as opposed to what you had when you were winning games early in the series. So, yeah, he looked really good. Did it throw off any chemistry? Maybe a little bit, just having him back and having him do what he does. I don't know how the ball needs to move a little bit, but I thought Austin came back. He looked really well, Geeter. Hopefully he can, come back in the next game and produce from the 3-line a little bit better.
And, some of that is, to James's point, like some of it, yes, Austin's rust in terms of his individual performance, in particular shooting. Like 4 out of 16 is an aberration for Austin Reaves. Like that won't happen very often during the course of a season. He's a high percentage field goal shooter. He takes good shots. He'll shoot the ball better on Friday night. No question about that. But it does, when you think about making the opponent uncomfortable, needing to force this Rockets team into turnovers and getting them outside of their comfort zone. Like Jake LaRavia only played 9 minutes tonight. Vando only played 6 minutes tonight. So that's where that push and pull of, Austin's 34 minutes takes a few minutes away from Jake and Vando, which are those defensive, disruptive, bigger, longer guys that can take away some of those passing angles and driving angles. And so, again, just part of figuring out the recipe, and elimination games are tough. And now you have an opportunity to play in another one on Friday night.